Hello everybody and welcome back to Mighty Modern. I'm Corbin Hostler and it is time for some Skred Dragons. So I want to make sure I give credit here. Ozzy Kelly played this and won a Star City Games Classic with it. Now if you don't know, the Classics are sort of the secondary tournaments that go on. I believe they're one-day tournaments at SCG events, and while they're not as as meaningful, I guess, as an Open or a GP, they are tough tournaments. There are a lot of rounds. There's a tough top 8. The best players playing them. They're a big deal, and this deck won. Dragons, all about the dragons. So congrats to Ozzy Kelly for this deck. I'm excited to play it out. So, Sarkhan Fireblood, great M19 Planeswalker right here. Discarded card. It seems like nothing. It loots. It can add some mana for dragons. It creates some dragons with its ultimate that takes forever. Doesn't seem like that much, right? But it works in this deck. If you kill what they do on turn 1 and turn 2 with Lightning Bolt, Skred, of course all the snow-covered lands. Draconic Roar, I love this one. You can reveal a dragon, deal 3 damage to their controller as well. That's great. Ratchet Bomb. All these cards you clean up on turns 1, 2. And then on turn 3, you play Sarkhan Fireblood. They do whatever they do, and then you play one of these dragons. Thunderbreak Regent, pretty great. People target your dragons, they take damage. Glorybringer, we know how good this card is from Standard. Stormbreath Dragon, protection from white. So many things going for this deck. And, oh, by the way, we're playing Blood Moons and Anger of the Gods and some Challenges. It's a great deck. We even get to play some Scrying Sheets. Kevin Rousseau's naming Dragon. Trust me, I love this deck. So, I actually have a couple of sideboard changes here. We're going to have some fun with the sideboard here. Dragon's Horde is getting in here. That's happening for sure. So, we got a Dragon's Horde. You can add some mana. This seems grindy, right? Whenever a dragon is a battlefield, you can use it to draw cards. It seems grindy. I'm in. Why not? Let's have some fun with this thing. Yeah, we're going to have some fun. That's right. Get some Dragon Hordes in here. And you know what this deck does not have? Needs some more Thunder Maw Hellkite. That's right. Oh, whoops, we're on Standard. All right, Modern. Here you go, everybody. That's building a sideboard on the fly. But you know what? It's going to be a lot of fun. All right, everybody. Here we go with some Sarkhan Dragons. This is Mighty Modern. I'm Corbin Hostler. Thank you for watching. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Mighty Modern. I'm Corbin Hostler, and it is time for Sarkhan Fireblood in Modern, everyone. That's right. We're doing it in 19, and I promise this is not just me making up some crazy brew. This deck won a Classic last weekend. Ozzy Kelly played this at an SCG Classic. Now, Classics are not Opens, they're not two-day tournaments, they're not Grand Prix, they're not Pro Tours, but they're a big deal. There's a lot of people that play in them. They are a lot of rounds. There's a top 8. It's a big deal to win a tournament like that with a deck like this. So I'm excited to give it a shot. Our opponent, ooh, hollow one, I guess. Unfortunately, we cannot Skred that thing. We can now, obviously, but I believe instead I will be playing this Draconic Roar. From what I understand, I don't believe our opponent has any way to save this thing, so we'll go ahead and let them try to go off here as much as they can. The nice thing about Skred is that later it can actually kill hollow ones and so on. It actually scales better than a lot of other removal spells in Modern. Our opponent discarded a Bloodghast and a Flameweight Phoenix to their Goblin Lore. That was pretty good. And we'll see how many hollow ones they have. Sorry, just my lights there. Alright, well, we're going to Draconic Roar this Flameblade Adept, and then we'll go from there. I mean, we actually get to untap into a Sarkhan here, and that's pretty good. Alright, we'll choose a creature, and we'll reveal this Thunderbreak Regent, deal 3 damage to our opponent. Scrying Sheets, by the way, awesome in this deck. 1 in a snow with the top card. If it's snow, you can put it in your hand. And we have 22, I believe, other snow cards. So there's definitely quite a bit you can do. Alright, so Sarkhan, we can use this mana to get dragons, but let's just go ahead and draw a discard here. I think I'd like to discard this Ratchet Bomb. And Draconic Roar is not bad. So we'll see what our opponent's up to. This does count as a snowland, so we have snow equals 3 for this. Uh-oh. Well, our opponent drew a bunch with Goblin Lore and didn't seem to discard cards that were too relevant. A Bolt and 2 lands, so there might be some hollow ones in our future here. Draconic Roar, unfortunately, does kind of fall into that middle area of removal, right? Where it's, good. It's okay against them, I guess, but it's not particularly good. No, well, here comes the Burning Inquiry. Let's see what happens. Hey. I can kind of get behind that, maybe. It doesn't seem great for us, but not really all that much different either. All right, so this is kind of cool. I believe I can... Yeah, this turn's going to be sweet. Watch this. All right, so we're going to play Chandra. We're going to plus Chandra for mana. Now we're going to plus Sarkhan for mana. And just off of these two planeswalkers, one of which we tapped out for this turn, we're going to play 4/4. That's not bad. This deck is sweet. I mean, making additional mana is one of the most broken things you can do in Magic. And I mean, that's what Sarkhan does. Jeez, there's all the Goblin Lords from our opponents. Haven't seen any hollow ones yet. This time they discarded Bloodghast, Street Wraith, and Faithful Salute. Well, our opponent's doing pretty well here. I mean, we're doing okay. Sarkhan is nice now because he can sort of filter away cards that don't do much, like this Blood Moon, to find cards that do. Or our opponent can do it for us with Burning Inquiry. That was pretty good for them. Our opponent's gone through half their deck. No hollow ones have appeared yet. I guess they did. They're just on tilt because they can't find hollow ones. To be honest, I don't really blame them. That said, we were going no... Well, I take that back. We were actually going to be in a great spot there. I was going to say we were going nowhere. We were about to draw land, have 3 lands in hand. But Sarkhan would have pitched one of those to draw an Anger of the Gods. We would have exiled both Bloodghast. Or got greedy and held it. Either way, that worked out extremely well for us. Look at that. Sarkhan and Chandra alongside. Making 4 mana on turn 4. That's great. All right, so I guess we do want... I mean, I guess some more Anger of the Gods here. Battle Skull seems real slow, but fine, I guess. Surgical, obviously. Thundermaw, not very good. Alright, well, let's give this a shot. Ratchet Bombs are... I mean, they're not the worst thing ever, but they're not great either. They're pretty slow. We can take one of them out. Glorybringer seems very good here. I guess we don't want any of the Blood Moons. That makes it pretty easy. All right, so now we actually get a card back. So it could be this Ratchet Bomb. I mean, that seems the most relevant here. And we'll give this a shot. All right, I'm in. I mean, this hand is certainly not exciting. It's, you know, got some expensive cards in it, but I don't know. It's got a Skred. Our opponent is playing Burning Inquiry in their deck. We might as well keep it a little looser hands. We could keep a great 6 and have a terrible hand. We keep this hand, it can be perfect. So that's pretty funny, though. My opponent went through half their deck, found 0 hollow ones. I mean, this is the best deck in Modern, maybe, or right up there with Humans, but sometimes it just doesn't work. All right, so Lightning Bolt there is not bad. We're going to need another land. The failure rate on Hollow One is much lower than you think, by the way, because even its bad hands seem to always have a Gurmag Angler or, you know, multiple recursive threats from the graveyard. It's got more going for it than it looks. I believe John Kapoor did a really good video about this for TCGplayer just a few months ago, about going into the actual math and the statistics behind the Hollow One deck. All of that said, our opponent has missed their second land drop here. They did find a Faithless Looting, though, so... I mean, it's nice we got to steal basically the play by having that, but it means our opponent's hand is going to be loaded for this Faithless Looting. So they discarded a Goblin Lore and a Collective Brutality. I mean, those are good cards to discard, and they... Wow, and they didn't hit land. Uh-oh. I mean... Yeah, that's pretty bad. That was the turn that missing land kind of killed them, because now, unless they just explode with a million hollow ones onto the table, we get to remove whatever thing they do put onto the table and then play a planeswalker. So, yeah, this is just not going to be good for them. I guess I'll go ahead and Draconic Roar that thing. It's the most mana efficient thing to do. All right, now we get to play Chandra. I guess we're just exiling the top card here. Well, I guess we won't be casting that Glorybringer. Well, we're in a pretty decent spot here. I mean, you do have to... The Hollow One deck can come out of nowhere. You think you're ahead, and then they, you know, put 16 power or whatever into play. But with that said, we're doing okay. Castigar, huh? Well, this is not going to work out very well for our opponent. I actually have multiple options of what to do with this. It's tempting to use mana from Chandra to get a Glorybringer in play. Bolt the Castigar and swing Reading for 4 that way. But alternatively, I could just Draconic Roar Bolt Castigar. We deal 3 to our opponent that way, and we get to do something off Liliana. I'm sorry, off Chandra. It's not like we need to be worried about opponent activating it. And this will do a 3 damage, and then getting Glorybringer in play this turn, though, is pretty good. All right, I've changed my mind. I'm going to go back and I'm going to go for the Glorybringer line here, just because having it in play doesn't necessarily do a ton for us this turn. I mean, we're going to deal 4 to our opponent, and having it exerted is not ideal. But with that said, we have our hand. We have Draconic Roar and Skred. We can deal 7 damage here. We can deal with whatever our opponent plays this turn, for the most part, which will then hopefully allow our Glorybringer to untap by the time they actually have a threat on the board. That said, we also get a plus Chandra for 2 damage. We get a Draconic Roar for 3 damage. Our opponent's at 7, so yeah, that's pretty good. I think we're going to get there. They found a hollow one. It might be a little late, though. And this is what I'm talking about, because see, we can just Skred this here. And I'm happy to just keep making mana. Skred, get it out of here. Play Thunderbreak Regent. Then now we have a Chandra threatening to ultimate. You know, I could have been plussing Chandra for the damage, but I think just being the most... We have plenty of cards, right? We don't need cards off the top of our deck. Our opponent has plenty of cards. We're not trying to really, you know, attrition them at this point. We're just trying to end it as quickly as possible. And I made the decision, which I believe to be correct, that playing these dragons out would end the game faster than plussing Chandra for the damage, rather. For the damage rather than the mana. I mean, they all lead to the same main goal of keeping the board clear and having a Chandra ready to ultimate. So, I mean, this one's pretty much over. It turns out, you know, it was a somewhat greedy hand by our opponent, but I feel like sometimes you should have to keep one-landers with decks like that, especially when you have things like Faithless Looting. All right, well, our opponent knows they're dead on board here. they put a lot of work into playing a 5/5. That doesn't fly. Well, this is cool. They can bring their Flamewake Phoenix back. Unfortunately for them, it attacks each combat of Fable. I will block. Yeah, they're not even going to try. Okay. It's kind of sick. All right, we did it. It's kind of sick here, too, that our Thunderbreak Regent actually provides those finishing points of damage. This deck is awesome. Well, that was great. We took down Hollow One, everybody. Thank you for watching. I'm Corbin Hostler. This is Mighty Modern. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Mighty Modern. Here's some more Sarkhan dragons here. So we're on the play, so I'm going to keep this hand. It's certainly a little iffy. I mean, we have no dragons. We have no early plays. But remember, Draconic Roar doesn't have to have a dragon. Sometimes you just deal 3 damage to the creature, and it's just an expensive lightning bolt, and that's fine. And, hey, Chandra's a good card. So, you know, this hand was essentially, if one of those lands had been, say, a 1 or 3 mana spell, this hand would have been great. And given that we had several draws, I felt comfortable with it. That said, I don't know what our opponent's up to here. I do know that our deck is probably pretty bad against what our opponent's doing. We want to play against creature decks, not Scalding Tarn, Sulfur Falls decks. Alright, it's Jeskai. So, I mean, that said, our Chandra's going to be great, but our Draconic Roars and Skreds are going to not be very good. And there's that, obviously. All right, well, I don't really have anything better to do than play this and see what happens. We have a lot of... I mean, resolving any of these Planeswalkers will be great for us. Not that I expect, to be honest, any of them to resolve. That's a logic not for one. Man, if only my deck had played... if only we had Simian Spirit Guides in here. If we had played the Sarkhan instead that turn, our opponent would have... well, they didn't even have to delve. I mean, they could have just delved, so we weren't getting around that no matter what we did. Our opponent doesn't have Cryptic. I'm just going to go for the highest upside here and play Chandra. Yeah, wow. Main deck negates. There's no way we're going to win this one. Alright, well, our opponent has their 4th land, although because it's a basic, there's still no... Yeah, Thunderbreak's not bad here. I guess I'll just go with the Thunderbreak. Yeah, our opponent still has no Cryptic Command mana, though. 2 basics. Interesting. Alright, so Thunderbreak Regent, if it resolves here, I mean, at least, you know, we get a little bit of value off of it being passed. I thought about leading with Glorybringer just because I don't think Glorybringer is going to be exerting in this match. It's just a 4/4 flying haste for 5, which I guess is an upgrade on whatever the dragon is in M19, the common dragon. It's a 4/4 flying haste for 6 mana. Alright, so our opponent's going to electrolyze us in the instep. Oh my gosh, they actually... What? Oh, they're going to lightning bolt it? Oh, wow. So my opponent's just deciding if they want to take 6 damage off of this. That's not bad. 6 damage off that Thunderbreak is above expectations, to be honest. I guess our opponent could also have a lot of creature removal rather than more counter magic, especially tapping out or tapping a blue mana there for that Serum Visions. All right, I think I just have to play the Sarkhan here. I'll go ahead and play my land. I'm going to discard the Draconic Roar if it resolves. Oh wow. Okay, look, like I said, sometimes it just works. So I could go for the Glorybringer here. Our opponent could be playing things like Detention Spheres or Snapcaster Mages. Snapcaster Bolt would obviously take care of this, so I'm kind of operating on the assumption I get 1 activation of it here. And I think we can deduce if this Sarkhan resolved, means our opponent likely has removal, which means Glorybringer is probably not doing much. I mean, if I play Glorybringer and don't attack, it might actually do more if we're trying to consider Snapcaster Bolt here. Which it could very well be. And if it is Snapcaster Bolt, actually not attacking with Glorybringer would be correct. That said, if I make the 2 mana, then I tap 3. Yeah, I don't have enough mana Draconic Roar. This is really difficult. I think they have creature removal in hand. So I think that playing Glorybringer doesn't really do anything this turn. I mean, it's not meaningless, but it doesn't do much. And if they have Snapcaster Bolt, we're going to lose our Sarkhan. So then we've just run Glorybringer, and we have this Draconic Roar that, I mean, I guess it kills a Snapcaster, but... All right, I'm going to go for the Glorybringer. This is a pretty difficult decision here, to be honest. But I guess the thing that got me there is, hey, if our opponent has Snapcaster Bolt and they want to take out our Sarkhan, well, maybe we get hosed, but our Draconic Roar actually has a use that way. Whereas if we discarded Draconic Roar and then they, had something like that anyways, now we don't really have anything clean to deal with the Snapcaster. And it turns out we're going to catch maybe a little bit of a break here. They electrolyzed the Sarkhan. Also, Draconic Roar, our opponent's at 9. I say that. They're 12 now. Well, that's fine. We 2-for-1'd them with that Sarkhan, plus got some extra mana from it. And I was right. There's the path, so... I'd love to draw scrying sheets here. That's what I want. Well, okay. I think we're pretty far behind here. We had a lot riding on that Sarkhan. Like I said, that Draconic Roar. We might have wished we'd cashed it in. Well, that's not bad. Unfortunately, this can be countered. It has protection from path, but if they have a counter spell, which they almost certainly do by this point, we're going to be in some trouble. But if they don't, then this Stormbreath Dragon is going to be insane. So we're at least going to put them to the test here. They can... Oh, wow. It worked. And like I said, that's why you put them to the test. Okay. Lightning Bolt. I think there might be another lightning bolt coming. There's a Snapcaster. Well, too bad we don't, conveniently. Too bad we don't have, 4 more mana to Monstrous this thing. Well, this is theoretically our opponent's big, game-changing play here. Generally, Snapcasters when these decks turn the corner. That said, could have been a lot worse for us there. That was a great top deck with that Stormbreath Dragon. I mean, our opponent's not playing lands, so they obviously have some good stuff. So I'm going to be a little bit greedy here and take a hit or two from the Snapcaster Mage and maybe draw a dragon before I Draconic Roar. Because, I mean, look at it this way. We have 6 points of burn in our hand. We might find it difficult to have targets for Draconic Roar, but there are more bolts. There's Haste Dragons. There's Chandra Pings, whatever, right? I think we can, when we're at 19, we can take a few hits from Snapcaster Mage to try to free roll some value out of the Draconic Roar. And there you go. Well, Ratchet Bomb is, I wouldn't say it's great, but it's been worse, I suppose. I think I'm probably willing to go down to 11 off of this Snapcaster Mage, to be honest. And I said I wanted to draw Scrying Sheets. Our opponent has Field of Runes, so it wouldn't even do much. But yeah, I think I'm willing to go down to 11. That's that 3 Lightning Bolt range, so... Look at that, a Glorybringer. I got a little excited. I probably should have Draconic Roar with the Snapcaster Mage first. I'm sorry I got so excited we drew a Glorybringer. Yeah, and I have to have a dragon in play for this to work. So when this gets counterspelled, I'm going to have lost my shot. No! I got so excited because Glorybringer is awesome. Yuck. All right, counter, draw. All right. Well, I said I was willing to go down to 11. We're going to put that to the test here. I mean, to be fair, I don't think my opponent would have Cryptic Commanded the Draconic Roar. If anything, they would have Cryptic Commanded their own Snapcaster Mage and drawn a card, and that would have been insane. So, to be honest, that actually might not have been the worst outcome for us there. Honestly, Cryptic Command Bounce Snapcaster Mage, or counter Glorybringer Bounce Snapcaster Mage might have been a better play, period. Well, I am going to have to kill this thing now. But I can do it with the Ratchet Bomb. Our opponent, I think, probably only has more Snapcasters and, search for Ascanta that I worry about Ratchet Bombing. Also, maybe they'll end up putting themselves to 9, which means we're one less thing away. But yeah, if my opponent had Cryptic Commanded the Glorybringer, Bouncer Snapcaster Mage, now they have Cryptic Command, they have Snapcaster Cryptic up for the rest of the game, regardless of what else they do. I mean, that said, their hand's probably just, three unbeatable cards anyway, so it doesn't matter, but... Gosh, it's a lot of land. All right. This game's good. Oh, they did have another. Let's see what it targets. They want to target Lightning Bolt. Okay. Bolt the Snapcaster Mage in response. This game's going to be tough to win. That's for sure. That said, our opponents, they've only got 2 cards in hand. I mean, there are theoretically great top decks for us, depending on what those 2 cards are. A Planeswalker could be insane. There's the Ascanta. A little punished there. Could be, I mean, I say punished. I don't know. Well, hey, that's not bad. You know what I call that? I call that an answer to Ascanta. Unfortunately, it's not going to resolve. I think that one might do us in. Yeah, it is unfortunate their last 2 cards in hand were Search for Ascanta and Snapcaster Mage. We were actually pretty close to turning this one around. All right, so I guess we have basically a turn here to... Well, they're going to flip Ascanta. I'd say this thing's just over. Well, we got one more draw step, I guess, see if we get lucky. A Chandra or something they can't deal with. I mean, we drew 11 lands, though. That's quite a few. I mean, we drew spells, too. Oh, my gosh. All right, that'll do it. All right, Teferi. You got it. Ratchet Bomb was not getting us there. All right, so it's hardcore Jeskai control here. This is what I want the Dragon Hordes for, I think. Surgical, yes. I'm excited to give Dragon Horde a shot. I mean, it's probably not great, but plenty of stuff to board out here. I think Skreds are well, yeah, they probably should. I think Skreds are worse than Draconic Roars because Draconic Roar can at least deal damage to them. And I think they're probably only creatures probably Snapcaster Mage and maybe Celestial Colonnade. And you know, I mean, Colonnade could get us. That's true, but we have a lot of 4/4 flyers, so we'll see. I guess the better question is, do we get anything extra? I mean, we get Molten Rains, which I kind of like on the play. Now, they're certainly not great, but it's another proactive threat. I say that in that it's obviously not a threat, but it is threatening to the opponent. I wonder if I want the Thundermaw here, which has another dragon. I mean, it's probably better than another Draconic Roar. All right, we'll give this a shot. I would like to play first. Well, these are good cards. I mean, resolving these cards would be great. So I'm going to probably lead with Molten Rain here. And it obviously depends on what our opponent does. I mean, they kept 7. They get to go turn 1 Seer Vision. It's pretty good. Even if they have plenty of basics, these Blood Moons are actually going to be worse here than elsewhere. But they do pair well alongside the Molten Rain. I mean, we can just Molten Rain our opponent's basic and then Blood Moon them. Probably the other way around, but you get the idea. Ooh, that's a good start for us. If our opponent is Serum Visionings on turn 2 here, it means they either... Well, this is great either way. They put 1 top, 1 bottom. So either they have Spell Pierce or something in hand, which if they do, sure, then we won't resolve this. But then they have to shuffle away the card they kept on top. So at least we have that value. But yeah, the upside to Blood Moon here is pretty high. And it's not even pretty high because, I mean, they have a basic island. It's just theoretically not even that great here, right? But when we follow up by Molten Raining that basic island, it's going to look really good. I probably could have Spell Pierce, though. Or Swan Song, or whatever. Could have resolved a Dragon's Horde that turn. To be fair, I think Dragon's Horde is better in other matchups, not really control, but I'm trying it out. I mean, it's probably not a great card regardless, but it is fun. Look at that. Our opponent fetched double island, huh? Well, Molten Rain time. See if it works. The rare Molten Rain, don't do it for 2 extra damage. Alright, so let's see what this counter spell is. I'm hoping it's Remand. It's Logic Knot. Alright. Logic Knot is unfortunate because that is the one that actually does hard counter our spell. The thing is, they might be able to dig out of this Blood Moon with these basic islands. And obviously even keeping 1 is a benefit, but it still messes them up. They still have white and red spells in the deck. They basically need another basic island to try to Cryptic Command. Now, there's another mountain for us. All right, I'm just going to go for it. Oops. Wrong spell. Our opponent also missed a land drop, so this is just going to be good, period. Another Logic Knot. Yeah, I didn't want to resolve any spells anyways. They're doing an impressive job playing for being under a Blood Moon here and only having access to 1 color in their deck. But what it means is that, in theory, unless they can draw something pretty good to get out of this, our card quality will be better as the game goes on because they simply have so many cards they can't cast. They're more likely to draw a non-castable card than we are, which is good because we don't have very many castable cards right now. All right, there's one, though. All right, Stormbreath Dragon, let's see if you resolve. Oh, it did. That's a pretty good one. Whoa. Camera lost me. There we go. Yeah, untapping and monstressing this thing for 7, that's going to be pretty good. And in fact, would end the game, depending on how much mana we have here. Oh, I found the Dragon Sword. All right, so this is 7 mana, exactly enough. Well, it'll end the game next turn when we lightning bolt them. It's very, very rare you ever get to actually monstrous this card. You know, just this weird ability out of Theros, which was flavorful. I'll give it to it. I mean, Theros was cool. Not as good as I think it, I don't know. I guess Greek mythology is not my favorite. I'm excited for Norse mythology world whenever we get around to there. All right, so our deck is a lot worse on the draw. I don't think I can do anything else here, though. Yeah, our deck is definitely going to have trouble here. That said, I mean, we've got a 3, 4, 5. We've got a scrying sheets. That's good value over the course of a game. We should have to hope our opponent's answers don't line up with our threats. And to be fair, it is a little difficult for our opponent when we are cycling between planeswalkers, creatures, removal. Well, I guess removal they don't care about so much, but enchantments. It is actually a pretty difficult set of cards you need answers for. So it's very easy for them to draw the wrong half of their deck or just draw one too many lands and have, you know, one of our threats stick that they can't deal with. And we get to see if our opponent has a spell here. They do not. I love they shocked it to represent it. So that, sure they have something, but doing it again, huh? Okay. I still no reason not to jam Sarkhan. I mean, look at our hand. We have a lot of threats. We have a lot of value in these planeswalkers. Wow, it just worked. I don't even think I want... If I pitched anything from this hand, it'd be Glorybringer. I think that's fine. Because the thing is, if our Sarkhan dies, but... And it might not. Good. This is why, by the way, small percentages. I've been holding the scrying sheets in my hand. I want it to be the last land that I play. And we can see that rewarded a little bit here with the Ghost Quarter. So whenever I play it, hopefully I'll be able to get at least one activation out of it immediately. Batterskull is not bad in the matchup. Kind of just want to play Thunderbreak Regent, though. Yeah, I'm just going to go for it. My opponent, I guess, I mean, technically they have Cryptic Command mana. There you go. Disdainful Stroke is a pretty good one for them. All right, what to do with Sarkhan here? I think nothing. I think I'm fine with this hand. The reasoning is this. One, these cards are all good. I like all these cards. And this is not the same as looting. This is not the should you loot conversation where you get to draw the card first. I have to decide I don't want one of these cards if I'm going to loot there. All right, so there's the Snapcaster Mage, but this is actually bad for our opponent because this is 100% just the pressure that Sarkhan is providing here. If they attack it, bolt it, that's fine. They'll get rid of our Sarkhan, but it means that they wasted a Snapcaster Mage, which is obviously one of the best cards in the deck. And they're just passing, which is even worse for them. All right, so I'm going to add the mana here. Go for this Thunderbreak Regent. Well, I could go for Chandra. Yeah, I can be greedy and go for Chandra here. Kind of awkward I added the dragon mana, but I'm fine with this hand anyway, so. But I just thought about it. I mean, this Sarkhan resolved a few turns ago, and I should have been a little more patient there and thought this through, but I think it's fine. But Sarkhan resolved. Maybe Chandra will resolve, and I get to make mana and play my dragon spell. Also, it's also consideration that my opponent's answer could be another Snapcaster Mage for Disdainful Stroke, which I can beat with Surgical Extraction. So there were some different lines. All those things are sort of considerations that went into the play. That's a pretty good one, though. Oops. I guess I do want my land. I'm going to need all the mana I can next turn. Well, that's not ideal. Cryptic Command counter the Chandra bounce the Sarkhan is pretty good. And it looks like we're going to get Field of Ruined here. That said, my opponent has 3 cards in hand, and we still have plenty of threats. And all we need is like for one of those answers to be a Snapcaster Mage over the next 3 turns or whatever, and we'll actually be able to put the Surgical to good use and resolve a key spell. And there you go. All right, going to go for Thunderbreak Regent here. Just a turn later. But this is fine. I mean, I think this game has progressed pretty decently for us. The thing with this... They're going to Ghost... But why? They're Ghost Quartering their own Field of Ruin. I'm not sure what the play is here. I don't know what that was. Okay, it was to get another Snapcaster Mage. I mean, regardless of how this interaction turns out here, I mean, I get to keep my scrying sheets now. All right, so Snapcaster's on that. All right, so we're going to target the Disdainful Stroke with our Surgical. Our opponent might have another counterspell here, but if they don't, they're in quite a bit of trouble. As a matter of fact, even if they did, they'd be in trouble because then they couldn't cast a Disdainful Stroke. Yeah, this is working out pretty well. So now we get to look at our opponent's deck, see that it's a 1-of Disdainful Stroke, but that's not the point. The point was to use Surgical to counter Snapcaster Mage, which we did. All right, they got Purges. Those are pretty good against us. Yeah, I mean, everything here looks pretty standard. 2 Teferis, 1 Verdict. I guess the important part of playing Magic Online, I guess paper as well, with Surgical Extraction is to remember to take the copies out of the graveyard. It's really easy on Magic Online because it pops the library up in front of you to just click the copies in the library and they're gone. But you actually have to click the copy in the graveyard as well to get rid of it. It would have been pretty bad to miss that click against the Snapcaster Mage and the Snapcaster Mage be able to actually get the Disdainful Stroke to counter our spell. This seems pretty good, a good spot for us, though. Our opponent, I mean, they've got a couple Snapcaster Mages, but in theory, we're going to have a 4/4 here. I guess if they had another counterspell in hand for the Thunderbreak Regent, and then use the Snapcaster Mages to kill the Sarkhan, I mean, that would probably be the best turn of events for them. If they then also had found an answer to the Battle Scroll, we'd be deploying afterwards. But that would be a pretty reasonable position for them. But they're tanking here on the Thunderbreak Regent, so I'm not exactly sure what that means. All right, it resolved. And let's see. And they pass. All right, they're in their main phase, so that's good. Good sign for us here. I can't believe we actually are going to get to keep the scrying sheets. I guess our opponent, they obviously did that with the Ghost Quarter because it's kind of awkward for them, but they needed to have the amount of blue mana, I assume. All right, so they're going to bolt our Thunderbreak and trade it off. That's fine. They needed that specific amount of mana, or colors of mana, but that's and it makes sense to take your color source out, but yeah, that's still pretty rough. I love Cavernous Souls here. I'm gonna go with Chandra first. All right, Chandra resolved. That's pretty good. So she can go ahead and play this. Being able to guarantee resolving a dragon is a big deal here. And I think we only play 1 or 2 of these in the main deck. So I guess I add the mana. That makes sense. That way, I think this works. If we flip a dragon with Chandra, I can actually cast it. We did not. And I can't cast that one. But that's fine. All right, so I also could have just shot the Snapcaster with the Chandra, but I think that I'm okay not to. I get to activate scrying sheets here, and these aren't great choices for our opponent. And I basically came down to how highly I valued the Cavernous Souls. I could have shot the the Snapcaster Mage. But I like the idea of just trying to force through stuff. Because also, if we had hit a dragon, we could have used the Sarkhan mana, and it would have been uncounterable. We could have just had a huge turn there. As is, our opponent kills Chandra. Again, that's sort of fine. It's good for them, obviously, but we just have so much working for us right now. For instance, that Glorybringer. Be that we can guaranteed resolve. My opponent's sticking around, though. They're not in a terrible spot. But, you know, I take that back now. The fact that this worked. If they had pathed, you know, before we hit combat, that would have been one thing. But if you didn't have an answer to the uncounterable Glorybringer, you're going to have trouble. And I get activate Scrying Sheets again here. Card's very, very good. Look at the top card of your library. If it's snow, you draw it. If it's not snow, well, great. I just didn't know what I'm drawing. All right, I'm just going to keep on the same plan here. I mean, that's why Scrying Sheets is so good. You either draw a free card, great, or you don't, and you know you're drawing a card you can cast. So it's also pretty nice. All right, so we're going to go ahead and run out the Thunderbreak here. Remember, we saw that our opponent only had one Supreme Verdict in the deck. And I don't believe there were any Wrath of Gods. So, and I could play the Batter Skull here, but there's no need to. I can activate Scrying Sheets this way. They need to draw their one of Supreme Verdict, basically. Because if you try to point, you know, spot removal with these dragons with the Thunderbreak Regent in play, that's not going to work out very well. Oh, Lightning Bolt, great. So our opponent probably has Cryptic Command or whatever in hand. And it's going to keep them alive for the moment. Tap, draw. Sure. I could just play the Batter Skull, I guess. Yeah, if I do that, I can't. I'm not going to. Here's the thing. We're running Sarkhan up. Which doesn't really matter in some ways. I mean, I don't want to ultimate it, to be honest. But it means it's going to be around longer from whatever answers they might have. Let's see if they found the verdict. Kind of acting like they might have. They did. They found the one of verdict. Well, now I'll ultimate Sarkhan. Yuck. Draconic Roar is not what we want. But you know what? Sarkhan works for that too. This card is so good. I mean, to be honest, it's the 3 mana that makes it so good. But it's pretty good. We had to pitch Draconic Roar and draw another Lightning Bolt. All right, so now I'm willing to play the Batter Skull. I didn't want to run it out there when they had to have a Wrath to stay in the game. And yeah, we can pick it up, but there's, you know, it's just kind of a win more in play. Now that Celestial Colonnade's pretty good for them. That's a way to pressure Sarkhan. Oh no, they have Wear Tear. Oh no, I forgot. We actually saw their hand earlier. I think we knew about that. There's a Helix on Sarkhan. Alright, so I'm thinking about setting this in my upkeep. That way, if the top card is a land card, we actually get another draw. That would leave us with 1, 2, 3, 4 mana plus Sarkhan. In some ways, that's good. I mean, it actually does seem pretty good. That shows us the most cards. Because if we drew nothing, we could then also pitch with Sarkhan. And if we hit a land, we'd have 5. So we could... Yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. So the only reason this does anything is if it lands on top of our deck. Because then we get a real draw step. If a land's not on top of our deck, it doesn't matter, and we've wasted it, but we'll still have mana to do whatever we want. Don't know if this is... I've never had this play come up. I just did this at the moment, but I think it works. And look, we actually drew a land off of it. And now we get a Blood Moon, so I would say it's pretty much exactly how we wanted that to go. And I would say that I am more than willing at this point of the game to turn this... turn off the scrying sheets here. We got a lot of value on it on that turn, and now we've Blood Mooned our opponent. And again, they're in the game. Let's not think that they aren't. They have all their... I mean, they have all the basics, so they have all the colors, but the Celestial Colonnade can't attack us now. The Snapcaster Mage can't bring back a blue spell. This they can't cast Cryptic Command, and we're sitting on 6 points of burn. So, and now we can just use Sarkhan. This card, I think we resolved this on turn 3, and it's still sitting around. Card is nuts, absolutely crazy good. Yeah, and the thing is, our opponent basically has to hope to get through Sarkhan with Snapcaster Bolt type shenanigans. Serum is just pretty good here. It's just going to be so hard to do with these 2 lightning bolts in our hand. And obviously I want to point them at our opponent, but also I will obviously... We'll see if it's worth ultimating it from 7 to 0. I would have taken notes and paper and known exactly what they had in their hand and so on, and made some probably more optimal plays, but... And so let's go ahead and play out the Thunderbreak Regent here. And because that resolved, I'm just going to discard this mountain and draw this Glorybringer that I can't cast this turn. But you know what? It does represent lethal next turn. Oh, that's so rough for our opponent. And you know what? I will go get a basic land. Having to path the Thunderbreak Regent, not where you want to be. Search your Ascanta, that's nice. So you can make another mountain when you transform that. Alright, so I'm just going to play Glorybringer here. There's a lot of different ways this turn could go. Obviously, Molten Raining the Island is at the top of my list, but no reason not to just attack first. As a matter of fact, we'll just... My opponent, I don't think this is slow rolling. Okay. There we go, we did it. I mean, I don't know what they could have something in white. I don't know. Just it went fast enough. I don't feel like a slow roll there. There you go, everybody. Took it down. That was a crazy match, actually. Jeskai control. That is as tier 1 as it gets at the moment, and we took it down with Sarkhan Stompy. Dragons, everybody. That was a lot of fun. Thank you for watching. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. All right, here we go with some more of the Dragon Stompy deck. Sarkhan Fireblood here. We do have to mulligan this one, though. Well, this is pretty risky. This hand, though, is very good against a certain subclass of decks. And fortunately, Windswept Heath does seem to be that type of deck. All right, so this could work out very well for us because this hand, you saw that I bottomed that Stormbreath Dragon there because it's a fine card. It's obviously nothing wrong with it, but we only have 3 lands in hand and it doesn't do anything for 4 turns. So not quite willing to pull the trigger on that one. Oh, wow, spirits, huh? Okay. Well, you know what? Mausoleum Wanderer makes things a little more complicated here. Ugh, man, that makes things a lot harder. Well, do I just bolt the Hierarch? If we've been on the play, it'd be great, but it's so long before we can resolve this card. And we could just get Spell Quellered. I'm going to bolt here. This takes him off of mana. Based on the way my opponent played that, I'm not convinced that they have another land in hand. And for them, they do. That's fine. All right, Skred's a nice draw. That changes some stuff. That makes me feel a little more confident here. I guess worst case scenario, our Anger of the Gods could be used 1-for-1 with Mausoleum Wanderer. But the thing about killing the Hierarch is it slows down all of those things I'm scared about. And if it means we get a 2-for-1 with our Anger of the Gods instead of a 3-for-1 or whatever, I think that's fine. But if my opponent has more mana, they're more likely to be able to answer everything we do. You could also argue that I could have just killed the Wanderer there, but the Wanderer is sort of an effect I can play around given time. Meanwhile, I can't necessarily play around them getting so far ahead on mana and Spell Queller and all my stuff and so on. I have to imagine this is a pretty reasonable matchup for us in the abstract here. It's a lot of Skred. Just turns out exactly what we want. Alright, so I'm going to pass the turn. If my opponent goes for a Lord, I guess Company's the scarier thing. But in that case, our Anger of the Gods, unless they hit a Spell Queller, is a 1-for-1 with the Hierarch, at least. So, it's still not bad. Or it's more likely it gives them enough spirits to actually counter the Anger of the Gods, which, you know, puts us back to it being a trade for the Mausoleum Wanderer. But my opponent could play differently. They could play a Lord or something. I mean, they're not, but... They play a Lord that I need to Skred out of the sky or something to then be able to get value out of the Anger. But we'll see what our opponent wants to do here. Looks like it is likely a Collected Company. What would happen if I just played Thunderbreak Regent? Kind of like that. I kind of like making our opponent interact with us a little bit instead of, I mean, just trying desperately to get a 2-for-1 here with the Anger of the Gods. This blocks pretty much everything in the deck. It's just a completely different line that then allows me to untap into all of these removal spells. But, you know, if we can force them to commit more to the board, and it's a company as expected, if we can force them to commit more to the board, then the Anger of the Gods becomes better anyways. Double Supreme Phantom is a pretty good one. Our opponent probably should have accompanied in response to Thunderbreak, though. If they hit a Spell Queller, they could have countered it. Selfless Spirit. Well, that one's pretty annoying. It's like they still get to attack for 5. That's fine. We are going to take some damage here. I mean, none of this is ideal, but it'll still work out okay. Wow. That's a card. Yeah, I'm going to be honest, that changes my mind about things. I'm just slamming it. All our opponent has is that Noble Hierarch, which now they can't even protect when I Lightning Bolt it. Yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm just going to leave him on white mana here. Noble Hierarch means more companies, and that's the scariest thing possible right now. I just want to get that off the battlefield. So my opponent's thinking about whether or not they want to counter this Lightning Bolt. They did not. Okay. That would have been interesting. That would have been an interesting line for them to take. I think the Collected Company is the thing I'm most scared about, obviously, because we have the removal to grind through the rest of this stuff. And for what it's worth, now the Mausoleum Wanderer can't attack. Not going to get exalted. Selfless Spirit can come in, but that's fine. Or I think it's in the whole team in, which is what I actually expect. Yeah. So I might have to take damage this turn, but I think we're going to be able to stabilize here at 4. Because I should be able to clear the board now. Oh, maybe not, though. Land allows me to do it, actually. It was going to be really close otherwise, because this actually isn't even that good, right? I Skred. I guess I can still get a 2-for-1 out of it. I'll Skred this. Well, it's not even going to be that. It's still just going to be a 1-for-1 with this. I guess I pass. Thing is, they can actually counter my Anger the Gods. And I think I just have to Skred the Mausoleum. Maybe I should just Skred the Super Mausoleum Wanderer a million turns ago. I don't know. You also argue that I should have played Anger there. I guess one of the things my opponent could actually get us with... Whoa, sorry. It's another match timing out. Yeah, I'm not convinced I've played this correctly. My opponent could actually punish us if they had, you know, land in another Supreme Phantom, or heck, it could be Draconic Captain at that point. Yeah, okay, well, this is fine. So I'm just gonna play Stormbreath and I'm gonna attack. I think I'm gonna attack. Here's the thing, my opponent just has the planes. None of their flash creatures have, you know, they have to have a blue. They want to hit us back for 1, we're winning the race. And I think it was important to not give them any time to draw out of it. They're not going to kill us on that turn. Let's just start racing them, because Anger the Gods on this turn, in the course of this game, is more or less the same as Anger the Gods last game, because we're not dying in 1-point chunks. And now we get to Anger away the Supreme Phantom. My opponent would have to have Path or something. But it turns out he can't Path the Stormbreath Dragon, so... Alright, this puts him down to 9, and it's just lethal next turn. Oh, they hit an island, actually. We got a game. Supreme Phantom, okay. Kid, give me a land, please, deck. Oh, that's not bad either. It's actually pretty important, because there were a series of cards that could cause us to lose if we weren't able to kill that. That said, it would have worked out either way, because we could, if we hit land there. I mean, we certainly had some bad draws, but hitting land there allows us to monstrous Stormbreath Dragon and kill them that way. And that Rattle Chains, by the way, is why drawing that Draconic Roar was so good, because we could have easily died to that thing. Oh, wow, just got them all. Yeah, I think I'm just going to try to kill my opponent here. They don't think they can possibly get out of this one. Yep, Path to exile your own Rattle Chains. I understand. Stormbreath Dragon doing its job. Also, for what it's worth, our opponent would have taken damage from the Draconic Roar and just died. So, alright, we did it, though. Alright. Bant Spirits, huh? Angers seem good. Molten Rain's kind of, you know, sneakily good here, but actually, our deck is just pretty decent against them, to be honest. Glorybringer is great. Stormbreath is great. I mean, everything we have is good to be, like, this is great in theory for us. We do have to make some cuts, though. My opponent just asked if we were streaming. Not streaming, but we are recording. Okay, so Glorybringer is so good here. Everything is good here. I think Chandra might actually be the worst. I like just killing all their creatures. I like... We probably don't need the full 4 Anger of the Gods. We already saw how tricky it can be in the matchup. But 3 seems fine. Maybe we just don't want Thundermaw. You know, I like that it taps all of their... You know, when it comes into play, it deals 1 damage to each creature with flying they control. And it taps them. So it does a lot of work. But so does everything else. It does seem like we'll be in sort of a racing situation. And like I said, it's not really a grind matchup. I mean, that one kind of was. Am I crazy for wanting to board out Chandra here? Sorry, my opponent and I are chatting. They said they hoped I could be part of YouTube history so I could rewatch my misplays. Well, congrats. You get to. Trust me, I know how that feels. All right, I'm just going to go for this. This feels insane to me a little bit to cut Chandra's. Card is a centerpiece of most of these modern decks. These sort of mono-red decks. It's so good. But with all of that said, it's so easy for my opponent to crack back and kill it. And you just... It's a removal spell, and it's good at that, though. I don't know. You know what? Maybe I've talked myself back into at least a 1-1 split here. It's just hard when our entire deck is good against them. You know, I don't know. First world problems, right? All right, so here we go with game 2 against Bant Spirits. Well, this is another way. We are going to have to mulligan this one. A lot of 5. If there's another land, I might keep it because Sarkhan can take you into 5, but it's a lot of expensive cards there. All right, this, though, and for this, Ratchet Bomb is great. Ratchet Bomb is one of the best cards I think we have in the matchup. It's removal that can't be interacted with via Mausoleum Wanderer. Obviously, it can with spell quellers or selfless spirits or that sort of thing, but it's also very flexible. I like what we've got going here. I mean, in theory, we play Ratchet Bomb next turn. We'll see what our opponent does. The dream, I suppose, is to Ratchet Bomb in play, but then get to Anger of Gods away the board. All right, so they've got all the mana they need, color-wise anyways now. Basic Island, so the Blood Moon playing a little worse. But it's still pretty good. On the play, if we lose this game, I might actually board in the Molten Rains. Because the Molten Rain Blood Moon combo is pretty devastating. See the success of Ponza. Alright, well that is not a bad turn 2 play by any means, but it does mean this Ratchet Bomb is going to resolve cleanly. And next turn, in theory, we actually get a go for the Anger of the Gods. There's nothing in play stopping us. Depends what our opponent has. Leading on Jirog Skull Captain here, though, is it going to be a Geist? I mean, Geist Saint Traft already has 6. I don't know what they'd be going for here unless it's just another Jirog Skull Captain. That's not typically the first one you play. And it is. This is good for us. Well, could be good for us anyways. Phantasmal Image on the other Jirog Skull Captain. Makes perfect sense. Now all the spirits are hexproof. Unfortunately for our opponent, it means that this Anger of the Gods is going to be a clean 2-for-1. 3-for-1, rather. Unless, of course, this Noble Hierarch surprises me. They could also play land post-combat. They did not, so that's not going to be great for them. All right, here we go. Fire off this Anger of the Gods. Hope for the 3-for-1. We did mulligan, so... That said, our hand looks pretty good. I mean, we're at 4 lands now, but we have a removal spell, we have Ratchet Bomb, and we have 2 extremely good 5-drops against the deck. Our opponent did find another land. Wow, you know what? Geist of Saint Traft is kind of annoying. We'll be able to get it with Ratchet Bomb in a turn, but... I wonder if they just drew that. I would have led with that on turn 2 off that Hierarch. So they probably just drew it. I'm going to go ahead and tick up this Ratchet Bomb so I don't forget here. Yeah, that's why, and that's one of those recent Ratchet Bombs. I talked about how good it was, how flexible it is. One of our only outs is Geist of Saint Traft. Until we, get a creature in play. We're drawing plenty of lands here, which is not the end of the world. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and see if this works first. It should. My opponent has Spell Queller up. Unfortunately for them, I'm casting 5 mana spells. Spell Queller, great card, incredible card. It might be the most powerful card out of Eldritch Moon. I mean, that might be Collective Brutality. But man, Spell Queller is a heck of a card, but doesn't do much against Stormbreath Dragon, that's for sure. And so my opponent's thinking about this Ratchet Bomb. I don't know what that means. I don't know if they're considering pathing their own Geist. Maybe they have companies in hand. Turns out they just let it go. I'm going to slam Stormbreath Dragon. To be honest, it's kind of tempting not to attack. Because I'm at 10, that is sort of a dangerous life total. I mean, they could flash in any number of things, play Lord, get in for 3 damage or whatever. They could also, play something like Mausoleum Wanderer and Rattle Chains. Rattle Chains, by the way, the Secret Lord in the Bant Spirits deck, giving everything flash. But turns out they just have nothing, which is pretty good for us. Because now when they tap out for something that is, something like Supreme Phantom, basically anything that isn't Geist of Saint Traft, it gets completely hosed by Glorybringer. And if not by Glorybringer, by Skred. And Glorybringer is a house in Modern. Basically, all of these 5-mana dragon cards they print are playable. You know, we had Thundermaw, which was insane in Standard. Stormbreath saw a pretty fair amount of play in Standard, and now Glorybringer. They just make a 5-mana dragon with a bunch of abilities and give it haste. It's pretty good. All right, so we're going to take out the Supreme Phantom here. Oh, they do have a path, though. And they are going to path their own creature. Like I said, that's what they were debating last turn, and it makes sense if their hand is collecting companies. Although, remember, when they were faced with that decision, we hadn't have anything on the board. We had no creatures at all on the board. It's hard to think that, you know, basically one decision point later, you're going to be facing down 2/4/4 flyers after already taking a hit. But yeah, if they are on companies right now, and that's how they needed to get back in the game, that would have been pretty good last turn. Doesn't do much for them here. Well, that's enough to monster Stormbreath Dragon. But I'm going to attack, keep the Skred up. My opponent basically needs to try to kill me. But they also have to not die because of this monstrous ability. This is going to be pretty rough for them. I want to see what my opponent hits off of this. Rattle Chains and Rattle. Well, that's pretty good. Sure. I'll let this... They have to... This is so bad. I mean, they have to chump block with one. Or they die. Right. I mean... Oh, they actually... Oh, that's so bad, though. Oh, no. I don't know if they understand. I see what you're trying to do, but Monstrous doesn't just do an ability. It also puts 3 counters on the Stormbreath Dragon. So, oh, rough breaks there. So the Rattle Chains are both going to die. My opponent's still going to take some damage. The 3 damage off the ability, but now I also have a 7/7 Stormbreath Dragon. Yeah, it is kind of rough for them. If they had pathed that guy, it could have been a different game because, like I said, I was more concerned about losing the race than I was being able to finish them. You know, as you could see there, if they'd accompanied into those double Rattle Chains and then had that Supreme Phantom and were actually cracking back at me, it would have been much scarier for me than it was. So I don't even need to do this. I can just exert the Glorybringer. Also, this thing just has protection from white. Yeah, which actually tells me I'm just not even going to... There's no reason to exert. My opponent has to try to do something crazy here, and they're just going to Rattle Chains, and I'm going to Skred, and we're going to win. I mean, they're obviously pretty dead there no matter what they do, but... All right, I think we got it. Look at this. This Sarkhan Dragons deck, everybody, has been impressive in Modern. It's truly been very good. I mean, you saw the match against Control. We beat a Jeskai Control deck. That's as tier as it gets right now, and we destroyed it with this Jeskai Dragons deck. We boarded in Dragon's Horde. So that's pretty great. This deck's got a lot of power, and I really like it. I see how it won an event. That was a lot of fun. I'm excited to see where this archetype goes from here in Modern for 6th round, because Dragon Stompy, count me in, everybody. This was Mighty Modern. I'm Corbin Hostler. Thank you for watching.